If you follow me on Instagram, then you know I said when I left the theater, this movie had no business going as hard as it did. Dr. Rose Cotter is a therapist who, after witnessing the traumatic suicide of a patient, goes through increasingly disturbing and daunting experiences that she can't explain. As an overwhelming terror begins to take over her life, Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive. What an excellent and chilling surprise. I'm going to be very, very honest with you guys. I am scared. I get scared very easily, and despite that fact, I love me a good horror movie that serves up a main course of frightening and unsettling, and you guys, this movie delivered on all of that and more. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, when I saw the first trailer, there was nothing there. I really expected this to be the atypical horror movie that Hollywood likes to pump out all the time, like 2018's Truth or Dare or 2019's Countdown. So imagine my surprise when I was served uneasy camera work. I'm talking upside down shots, tilted angles, and some really smooth scene changes. A score that honestly, if I could have, I would have turned down or muted entirely. There was a lot of creepy layering in the music, and I don't know a lot about music, but I know about layers, okay? And it was creepy. Additionally, the crescendo in this score throughout a lot of the scenes were just an accomplice to the spine-chilling visuals. It gave us acting that was so impressive, but I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit alarming. And the icing on the cake, you guys, I have a particular element that I love to pieces, that I love to see in movies. If you know me, you know. If you don't, I'm not gonna tell you because I don't wanna spoil the movie, but it was so unexpected and amazing that it just catapulted this movie into the stratosphere for me. Now, like I said, I'm not gonna tell you what that certain something is, and in order to distract you, we're gonna talk about the stellar acting in this movie. The acting from the entire cast all around was really good. I would have liked a bit more chemistry from Trevor, played by Jesse T. Usher, with Sosie's Rose. Even before the relationship was strained, there was little chemistry between the two of them. That said, what he wasn't giving in chemistry, I put on the stress of the relationship as the movie progressed. Once Rose's experiences got more intense and began to impact their relationship. So for that, I say he did a really good job. Kyle Galler as Joel was also there, but he didn't have a ton of opportunity to really stand out. Really though, we want to talk about the highlights. The highlight of this movie is going to be Sosie Bacon as Rose, as well as Caitlin Stacy as Laura, the latter who made an incredible splash with an extremely small amount of screen time. Sosie Bacon and her character Rose were both such a breath of fresh air. Rose is a therapist. She's a smart character, and it was so interesting to see her mind get chipped away at throughout the film. Sosie brought so much nuance to a movie that elevated it beyond a lot of horror movie flops that we've gotten used to. Okay, I watched it so you don't have to, but was it worth the watch? If you can't tell already, I'm giving this movie a yes. Smile has a wide-gritting runtime of 1 hour and 55 minutes, which honestly, for the genre, it's a lot to commit to a horror movie. But considering some of the stuff we're getting lately, you guys, we're getting more exceptions to the standard, and the movie doesn't even feel like it's runtime. I will say that I've seen a little bit of buzz online comparing this movie to It Follows and The Ring, which I totally agree. But before you start getting your mind racing and you go all crazy, just give me a second. It is not like those movies in content, but it is very much like both of those movies in concept. So if you've seen both of those movies, you're kind of well-equipped going into this movie. Again, being perfectly honest with you guys, I had the bar set very low. Again, I was expecting Truth or Dare, Countdown, both very bad movies, so the bar was on the floor. That said, I was completely astonished by how good this movie really is. It delivered gore, and if you've been here for a while, then you know I love it. The more the better. And I was completely floored. On top of that, the uneasiness, and it was like every single scene just made you feel like, ooh, I'm not gonna lie. Again, being perfectly honest, we're friends. We're chill here. I had my eyes covered pretty much the entire movie because I was terrified. Now, I really saw a lot of the movie. That's about right. About that much of the theater screen showing at a lot of moments in the movie because I was just that scared. The movie is packed full of jump scares. Some were silly, like the impossibly loud phone that rings and just scares the crap out of you. Some jump scares you can definitely see coming. Those were the ones where I was curled up in the seat with my eyes covered. But the ones that got me were the ones that you didn't expect. And in those moments, I believe I was about 8 inches off of the theater seat because I was terrified. And the ones that just fill you with dread. I'm talking the beautiful, the dazzling, quiet jump scare. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. Being perfectly honest, I did spend about 86% of this movie curled up in the theater seat. A lot of the times I had my eyes covered because I was, again, terrified. But the end of the movie, and we're touching on again that element that is my favorite thing a movie can bring to the table. The ending of this movie had me sitting straight up in my seat, smiling. You guys, amazing, beautiful, love it. On the other side of that, I assume that if you're clicking on the video, you like the type of genre, the content, and that sort of thing. But I have seen in a few comments that's not necessarily so. So if you don't like scary movies, if you can't handle scary movies, if you get scared easily, you don't like being scared, you don't like jump scares, you don't like loud music, you don't like the loud jump scares, if you don't like creepy visuals, skip this movie entirely. I will say, hopping back over the fence to the plus sides of this movie, practical effects, you guys. If you've been here for a while, then you know I love practical effects. Honestly, practical effects are probably right up there with my favorite thing a movie can bring to the table. You guys, if you like anything that we've talked about so far, definitely watch this movie. Give it a shot. It is so good. Yeah, there's plot holes and stuff like that, but we don't care. With an ending like that, I don't care. We can talk about, I don't want to spoil anything, but we can talk about like what happens after the movie's over because a lot more can happen. There's a lot of loose ends, but we don't care. I'm blinded by the ending, you guys. And that's a fault of mine, but we're okay with that. But with that all out of the way, let's talk about the triggers. This movie does deal with some very, very heavy themes that can be triggering, including suicide, suicidal thoughts, overdose, guilt, trauma, helplessness. These themes are very strongly present throughout the entire movie, literally from the first scene. On top of all of that, there is animal death shown on screen. I go more into it in the description below, so if any of that bothers you, please just be aware, look up what you need to look up, and be safe. But that brings us to the end of the video where I watched it so you don't have to. Leave a thumbs up on the video if you like the video so I know you liked the video. I've already asked you guys this, but I'm asking you again with this new addition. Favorite horror movie? Let me know down below. We've got a lot of good picks. I'm talking Nope. We didn't talk about it on this channel, but Scream, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I made a video on that. I was on the fence. The more I think about it, the more I like it. We didn't talk about it on this channel, but I do have posts on my Instagram for Fresh, which was fantastic. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, garbage, but we love the blood. Men, Barbarian. You guys, I think it's a toss-up between Smile and Barbarian. Those two were such good movies, but I'm only torn because Smile brought that element that I absolutely love, my favorite thing that a movie can do. It did. But Barbarian was so unique and atmospheric, and I loved it so much. I love the unique structure. I'm going with Barbarian. Let me know your favorite down below. While you're down there, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next movie that I'm going to be watching for you. And before I get too far to the ending, thank you guys so much for 1,000 views on the last video. That absolutely crazy. Hello to all of my new subscribers. I'm happy that you're here. Happy to be here with you talking about movies. Speaking of movies, I know in the invitation video, I promised you guys something in October. I was a little bit too ambitious, so we're gonna reel it back. We're gonna do Halloween. So I'm gonna watch 7 horror movies that I have not seen, or horror movies that I saw when I was like a child that I absolutely do not remember. So we're gonna be doing that closer to Halloween. And if you're listening on the podcast, thank you so much. If you haven't listened to my podcast yet, I'm gonna leave a link for it down below. And companion episode to this Smile episode / video, I'm gonna be watching the short film Laura Hasn't Slept, which is the short film that basically inspired the movie Smile. So that's going to be a bonus episode. It's only going to be available on the podcast. Again, link down below. Check it out if you would like, so we can hang out and talk about short films. I think it's like less than 12 minutes, so I'm very excited. But until the next video, spread positivity, be safe, take care of yourself. And I really wanted to say smile, but if you've seen the movie, then you know that like that's not the energy that we're going for. So I'm just going to say take care of yourself. All right, bye.